Okay, so I'm going to show you how to take your PowerPoint slide and bring it into a Google Drive, so it's a Google slide, and then add on the Nearpod Google Chrome extension, and then create a Nearpod presentation out of your lesson. So I'm starting with PowerPoint. I actually have all of my assignments up in Google Slides, but I thought I'd start with PowerPoint because I know some people are still using PowerPoints. So I have my PowerPoint here, and I've got my slides here that I want to bring up into Google Earth. So at this stage, I'm going to upload that into Google Earth. So I go out to my downloads, which is where it is here. So I know where I have it located. And then I'm going to go make sure I'm in my Google Drive. So I'm going to go here and I want to upload my, my file. I'm going to upload it into teacher resources here. So here I'm in my Google Drive and now I'm going to upload my PowerPoint. So I'm going to do a file upload. And then I'm going to go out to the folder that I have it saved here. And then I'm going to upload that into. So now I actually have my PowerPoint in my Google Drive. And now I'm just going to open it. And then I'm going to open it with Google Slides. So now I've technically created, and I'm going to be saving this as a Google slide. So this is just opening here so that we can see what it would look like. So there's my, my formerly PowerPoint. Now it's my Google slide. And I'm going to now create a Nearpod presentation using that. So you should have received a email in your staff email from Nearpod. So that will have a login and username and login for you to access the Nearpod information. So I want to make sure, if you can see, this still has the extension of PowerPoint in here. I want to make sure that this is actually a Google slide so I can work with it in the Google Drive. So here, I want to go here and create Save as Google Slides. So now it's going to open up another window, and that's actually going to be the Google Slides that we're going to work on here. So I'm going to close the other window that I don't need anymore. So now I'm for sure in Google Slides. You don't see a PPT at the end of this. So this is a Google slide. Here is where you want to go to the add-ons. So along the menu here, there's an add-ons menu. And if you don't see Nearpod, it means you have to open it. So you would have to go to the Get Add-ons, and then you would search for Nearpod. And once you search for it, you can then add it, and it's very simple to do. And then it will ask you to log into Nearpod, and then it will forever show up here. So I've already done this, so I'm going to open Nearpod. And as I open Nearpod in my Google Slides, it's going to give me a whole bunch of options that I can add to my Google slide presentation to make it a lot more interactive, a lot more interesting for students as they are going through the lesson. So as you can see, if it asks you to log in, you'll log in here. But usually once you log in for the first time, it'll keep you in there unless you accidentally log yourself out. So I'm going to go through and modify my presentation so that it'll be a lot more interactive for the students. So I'm going to go through my slides here. So this is the prompt that I would typically have my students use their own journal to work on, but I'm going to actually create something a little bit different here. So rather than them take out a journal, I'm actually going to have them do a draw in Nearpod. So I like to just copy what it's already there because I've already got it there, and then open up a new. So I put my cursor here, and I'm going to add the draw it link to Nearpod, and it's going to populate a slide here. And then because I copied and pasted the instructions, I can just put them back here and then edit it so that the students can actually see what they want to do. So here I'm going to ask them to draw, representing the screen of a mobile device. device. Take a minute to sketch out what a screen in your favorite app would look like. So then I'm just going to hit save. And it's going to add it. I'm not going to put a timer on this, but you can, if you're teaching this live and you wanted them to have a certain timer, you can add timers to it. But this just creates this screen here. So I'm just going to leave it like that. So now I've put a draw in there. And then I'm going to come back here and then I'm going to look at some questions that I want students to actually think about answering. So I have 2 questions that I would present live. But now I'm going to actually add some collaborative questions in there. And not collaborative, I'm going to add some open-ended questions that students can take a moment to kind of think about. So again, I'm going to copy some of the text here. So quick list. And then I'm actually going to create an open-ended question here. And then this kind of reword based on the app you drew in the previous slide. And then I'll just make a quick list of everything on that screen that you can interact with as a user. So the idea is I'm just getting them to think about interacting. So then they're going to be able to then just write a few things out there into this particular slide. So that's getting added in there. Slide, this is the original slide, and I don't take this away because I want them to take a look at it and think about these 2 points. And then when they go into these slides, then they're going to be asked to edit and answer inside those slides. And we have some remarks. I'm going to have the students actually read these because I want them to think about what we're going to be doing and looking at our lesson. And then I have our vocabulary words. So this is where I actually like to take this. This is how I do this because it makes it a lot easier for me, is I actually like to take a copy of this and I stick it in a document that I can then cut and paste from, because once you're inside working with Nearpod, you can't flip between the slides very easily. So I'm just going to in here, just as kind of have a little space to copy and paste, because I want the students to read the vocabulary, but then I also want to make sure that the students are actually working on the vocabulary as well. So I'm fully going to have this copied, and then hopefully they will paste it in here. Great. So now I actually have the words here. So I'm going to go, because now I can actually flip, because what I want to end my particular or Nearpod presentation with is I actually want to end it with a little matching game for vocabulary, because that's kind of just to make sure that they actually looked at this vocabulary. So I like to do a matching pairs. So what I'm going to do here is then I can actually match the word with the proper, can't spell. So now I can then flip between here and I can do, okay, let's talk about a callback function. So I can go here and then I can, okay, so now I can actually go back and grab with that document that I was creating the definition. So I can hit copy, I can go back here, I can add a pair, and then I can actually call back and then go back, and then I can grab this. So I like to do that this way because then it's a little bit easier than making it up on the fly. So now, and then I can add another pair, and again, I just do the same sort of thing. Make sure that I've got that there. Okay. And then I add another pair. So now I've put together my matching pairs. I can click save here, and it's going to add that as another screen to my presentation. So at this stage for this particular presentation, that's probably all I'm going to have my students do, because then I put a little note for them to go back to Canvas to finish their assignment. But I did want to show you a couple other tools that I do use when I'm adding, if I wanted to add something for students to actually say I wanted them to watch a video. So if I wanted them to watch a video, I can click on this, and then I could actually add a video in here. I can search for YouTube, code.org, event handlers. I don't know if I'm going to find anything. So there's, yeah, if I wanted to actually add some information in there, I could actually add a video. And so then that video would show up embedded in my, and I'm just going to leave that there because I'm going to show you what that looks like when we're done. So you can add a video that way. If, say, I wanted them to go out to the internet and grab something, or maybe I had a worksheet that I wanted them to work on and I wanted them to just grab it from this Nearpod, I could actually do that. So I could actually click web content, and it's going to ask for a link. So you could either go to a website, or if I say I wanted them to be able to grab this document of vocabulary, which I have here, I'm just going to call this vocab, right? And I wanted to share that so that students could see it. I can go into my Google Drive and I can share it. And I always select the option with anybody with the link can share it, because that way if students are working off of their personal Google Drive, they can still get access to this. So if I wanted them to be able to do that, I can go in there, I can put this in here, I can test the link to make sure it works, and sure enough it shows up. So I can go here and I can save that. So now I've actually created a file that they can actually grab, and then if they wanted to, they can work in it. And then lastly, they have this, well, not lastly, there's fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks is really easy. If you have some information, I'll throw that one on there too. This is just getting a little, I would never put this many interactives in a presentation because I think it gets a little bit too much. But say I wanted, instead of doing the matching, say I wanted to do fill in the blanks with this stuff. I could grab this, copy it, I could put it over here, and I could fill in the blanks. You can see I've got all this stuff here. And then if I hit, and I can change the way it looks if I want it in a different font. And then I can hit next. And then I can click on words and it'll just show up here. So if there's certain words that I want them to have. Now, for example, see how event handling, an event listener, and event, I can't click 2 words at a time. So what I would do to solve this problem is I would hyphenate that word, event hyphen handling, without a space, and then they would both come over together. Quiz is very simple. This is what it looks like. It's a question, you know, what is my name? And then I could say Corri, Nikki. I can add an answer. Shannon, and then I could say that's my name, right? And then if I wanted to add an extra one, I could add a question. If I wanted to add a picture, I can pull a picture from an image or video. If I wanted them to refer audio, I can play with that. Sometimes I do that for code, like I'll show some code in a picture as opposed to writing it out. And if I wanted to add another question,